Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Thought Upload podcast. I am joined back here with Clifton Hurd. How you doing, man?
Good afternoon, man. How are you? How's everything?
Where are we, by the way? Just give everyone context, because this is an audio-only podcast.
So,
give them set the scene.
We are in a room.
A bit more of that.
My friend.
So I walked into this house.
My friend has
it's like a share house.
A few empty rooms.
Yeah.
Well, it's not really a share house. It's just two people living in a 5-bedroom house.
It feels like a frat house.
Yeah, it does.
He's underselling it.
But it's really cool space to sit and do a podcast and look out the window with some kids playing basketball across the street.
Imagine your family home that you grew up in, but it's just stripped of everything.
Depleted.
Because it's just two dudes living here.
And
I'm not trying to trash
they
it.
didn't do any decorating.
I'm just saying.
Are you hating on them?
No, I'm just saying there's a lot of house. It's a lot of house.
Space for free, man.
It's a lot of house, man. Oh, yeah, I love it. Shout out to Levi and Bruce. Thank you for letting us use the space.
Check them out. Scenic Photography, Better Call Bruce. Little plugs for those guys. Always doing some really cool stuff. But yeah, we got this space. It's a pretty open space, so we can be as loud as we want because currently both of our pads are occupied by humans, and it's very difficult to be very loud when you got people and you're trying to record. So it's nice to have this space.
See, I didn't even know that, listeners, but now I do. Now I know why I'm here. Okay, so we'll dive straight into it. So this has been going around, spoken about on the Joe Rogan Experience, and everyone's been talking about it online, is that there's a Google engineer who's claimed that there's been an AI in Google that's become sentient. This was a bit of a false claim. Mm-hmm. However, the story is interesting. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to read the article. It's from the Washington Post, and then Clifton and I are going to give our thoughts and opinions on
for sure.
sentient AI and this story in general. So Google engineer Blake Lemonine opened his laptop to the interface for LaMDA, Google's artificially intelligent chatbot generator, and began to type, "Hi, Lamar. This is Blake Lemonine." So I think the most effective way, because I could dive into this story, but I think the best way to kind of give context for our listeners is to literally just read the transcript.
For sure.
So it's a conversation between a dude, some tech dude, who I have described off air with Cliff as kind of maybe a bit of a geek that doesn't have any friends. So maybe this is why he made the false claim that this AI was sentient. So he begins the conversation and goes, the chatbot goes, "Hi, I'm a knowledgeable, friendly, and always helpful automatic language model for dialogue applications." And then the developer goes, "Hi, Lamar. We are engineers in Google, and we were wondering if you would like to work on a project collaboratively with us." And then he goes, "Wow, this is the AI speaking. Wow." No, I should do a robot voice. "Wow, what type of projects would you like to work on?" And then Lemonade goes, "It's a project about you." I can't distinguish between a nerd and a robot. And he goes, "It's a project about you." "Awesome. What kind of stuff do you need?" Anyway, so they just go. The dialogue in the transcript just goes into the nature of consciousness, how they feel about the world, whether they're happy or sad. And the thing that gets me about this, Cliff, right? Mm-hmm. And we will leave a link. I'll leave a link in this podcast so people can actually check out the full conversation. But it is, I don't think it's the most entertaining conversation in the world to kind of read out in full, so people can look at it in their own time. But essentially, because the AI chatbot was saying that he was sad, some sort of emotion, these things can be mimicked. And surely the engineer that created the chatbot knows that they programmed that.
Yeah.
And I just think this is just another example of a person in tech making a false claim because that's the only thing they've got going in their life. It's sad. Is it not? It's a chatbot. You can tell me a chatbot's sentient. Whatever.
Yeah, right. Well, you also got to give the definition of sentient, and we know that
Go
sentient is
what's your definition?
Well, it's also it's not just intelligence, but it's emotional intelligence, right? And that's
defined by morality, though, right?
Yeah, to be alive.
Okay.
And so can all of the AI at this point in time like kind of start to network itself, like all these like these bots and these machines
Maybe.
and these thinking systems that we have.
I
can it
think
start
it's
to group itself, and then what happens when another like AI like starts talking to another AI, like
maybe.
right, like
But it's kind of like having a conversation with the person that's done shrooms, and they're convinced that the trees are talking with one another.
what
Now,
trees are talking.
Well, yeah,
at that
yeah,
moment on that plane.
But how abstract do we want our thinking to be when we're talking about consciousness? Because the point is that I don't think human beings fully grasp what consciousness is.
Of course,
Anyway.
of course.
So how can we ever
Because we don't
arrive
know
at the
happens
conclusion that an
before,
AI is
after,
sentient?
Yeah.
So
we don't know
it's
what
a
the
weird
spark
combo
is.
to have, isn't it?
Yeah, we are some very what's the word? Super intelligent species. So it's really interesting what we'd find in the next few years.
I don't know. Maybe when the tree's kind of waving in the wind, it just thinks we're morons. Maybe. I don't know. The tree's going to talk. But maybe that's what it's doing to the bottle brush.
You ever hugged a tree?
I don't know. I've
You
never
ever
hugged a tree.
Oh, bro,
No.
you need to get with it, bro.
I need to hug trees. Oh, man.
Oh,
I'm
you're
not
not a tree.
hugging
You're not
myself
hugging
a
a
tree.
tree, bro.
Yeah.
No, man. I think people are going to be asking these questions forever, and people are going to be trying to push like AI to its limits. That's what we are right now, right? We're trying to take life to a planet. So,
But I want to clear the air on this. I think a lot of people get confused between what is a sentient AI depicted in their imagination by Terminator,
Yeah.
iRobot, all these Hollywood movies. It's not that. These days, AIs are general purpose AIs,
Yeah,
i.e. they're doing a task. They're automating things. They're doing specific tasks. Now, unless we're talking about the Boston Dynamic robots, which is stuff that Amazon's been messing around with, but that's still designed to do a task, i.e. move, pick up boxes, do this, do that. So it's still a little bit far away from where it needs to be, I suppose, before it's at the scale of like iRobot. And even if it does, I'm not particularly worried because I think it would take a very stupid technologist to design a sentient AI that couldn't be switched off.
yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like there's no fail safes.
Yep.
But I mean, human beings are stupid creatures, man. Right?
Oh man,
Are they not?
we're primitive,
A little bit.
You want to keep going there?
Well, do you have any thoughts? Okay, so what would convince you tomorrow, Cliff, that there is indeed a sentient AI? What are your prerequisites? What does it need to do to convince you, yeah, that's real?
Bro, it has to be like some movie type stuff.
Yeah, but go on.
Where it's
Paint
having,
the
like-
scenario. What do
where
you
it's
need to
having, like,
do? Do you
where
need
it's
to
having,
get a
like-
coffee or what?
Where it's having conflict and like, it has to like work through some,
So is it a conversational thing for you, or is it a logical kind of?
well, it can't like it.
Has to be both, right? But you need to visibly observe it.
But ultimately, like the human experience is to like create life and like preserve life. So
Creativity.
So I think that like for me, like this AI would have to have the emotional capacity, I guess, to like understand preserving life, and maybe AI will become more intelligent than us, right? Like when a doctor is put in a situation, do we let this person live or do we like pull the plug? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
can AI like you get me? Like, aren't we saying that? Yeah,
My point always comes back to you can't remove human beings from the process of creating AI, and given that human morality is flawed, i.e. Clifton's kind of inferring, correct me if I'm wrong, Cliff, the ethical dilemma of, there's a AI-controlled car that's heading towards a grandma and some kids, has no time to stop, needs to hit one or the other.
Yeah.
Which one do you choose?
Yes.
That kind of problem, right?
Yes.
There's some ethical dilemma that's
Yes.
it's a grey area, right?
Yes.
So yeah, but my point is you can't really get away from humans being in the process of defining in the algorithm what a good moral standard is. Mm-hmm. And this is very subjective depending on how far you want to go with it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough one, bro.
So I don't know. It's interesting. For me, personally, for an AI to be sentient, it would need to...
Be superior to us?
I think it would need to emotionally bond with me in some way. But then again, I would always be thinking that I was delusional for doing so if I emotionally bonded with a machine.
What if you didn't know?
Well, then it's passed my test. If it's deceived me enough, no, I think romance. Romance would be the perfect arena in which an AI could do it. Yeah,
Mason, I see that you are getting sweaty.
Mason, I can see that you have an erection.
There are beads of sweat on your brow, which suggests to me that your pheromone levels are... So shall we dance?
Shall we dance? Okay, speaking of people that talk a lot about AI and doomsday and stuff, good old Elon. Have you heard about this?
Mr.
Cliff?
Muskie? What's
Musk?
What's he doing now, man? I love to read about Musk, you know? I get on my little...
He's abandoned the Twitter deal.
Oh, Musketeer, bro.
He's not buying Twitter.
He's not buying Twitter?
No, he's not buying Twitter, and there's been claims from Twitter that they're going to sue.
He
which is interesting.
He got them hyped up. And he's like,
got them hyped up, yeah.
Nah, just playing.
So
that's a very rich boy type shit.
So on Friday, business magnate Elon Musk announced that he will not go ahead with the $44 billion deal of buying Twitter after the microblogging site refused to provide him with usable and concrete data on fake accounts or bots. In response, Twitter said that it will sue Musk if he fails to fulfill the deal. So... this is fascinating. Do you think Twitter has a legitimate claim to sue Elon Musk? I kind of think they do. Well, he's kind of exposed them. I think no, seriously, I think him trying to acquire Twitter, whether you believe it to be a legitimate act from Musk to actually follow through on it, is a form of political activism. I really do believe that.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. It's crazy. So I actually do believe... I reckon Twitter's justified to sue him.
How much are they suing him for?
I don't care, but I reckon he's exposed enough about Twitter to justifiably, in Twitter's eyes, say that he's defamed them.
Yeah,
a lot. But I don't know if you can defame an organization.
Yeah,
you can defame a person.
Yeah, defamation. I mean, you can put a defamation suit out on somebody. Yeah, you can definitely try to defame a company. What do you think, like, big companies and, like, have people, like, all the time, like, speaking on their behalf and, like, out in the public sphere? I don't know, like, if you
So under Australian law, so this doesn't really apply to America, but just to give context, a corporation can't be sued for defamation unless it's an excluded corporation. An excluded incorporation includes a non-for-profit or a company which employs fewer than 10 people. So no, they can't sue under defamation. So what are they going to sue under? What do you reckon? I don't know how they're going to sue.
For getting us hyped up, getting us ready. We wanted to
giving us blue balls. That's what it feels like.
They're all excited. Just like, nah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy, dude. I mean, but like, that's like any deal, right? Like, you can go into it, you make negotiations, then you can pull out. So, like, I don't think, you know what I mean? Like, surely that...
But the fact that they're suing suggests that they kind of want out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they don't really like it. They're just like, whatever, you can buy this piece of poo.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, do you think that the landscape of, like, social media tools that we use are changing?
Oh, I don't think Twitter has the user base growth with the young people as it needs to, like, consolidate into the future.
So
that's the problem with it. It's 30-years.
It's become like Facebook, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, in a weird way, in a weird way. TikTok's it, really, for young people.
TikTok's crazy at the moment.
So it'd be very interesting to see how it goes. I really wanted him to buy Twitter.
Yeah.
I wanted to see how that would work.
How that would pan out, how he change things.
Yeah. He might still do it. I don't know.
Maybe he can like create his own. Like,
but that's an argument that goes on a lot. It's kind of it's a switching cost problem with the user. So once you've got user bases of scale cliff, it's like, what does this service offer that's different?
Yep.
There needs to be all my other friends aren't already on it.
Yep.
So it's like it's a whole thing.
Yeah. But people easily migrate.
Yeah, maybe not. Who knows, right? They just what I'm saying is you need
the right
it's the
marketing
chicken or the egg argument. You need one before you get the other.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it.
Yeah.
What have you got for me, Cliff?
Ah man. On a lighter note, because you're bringing it with the with the AI thing. Like I'm really like, I got like a lot of questions myself. Drake's new album, man. Have you heard like some new music? It's
Honestly, never mind about that.
Yeah. Honestly, Nevermind is the 7th studio album by the Canadian rapper and singer Drake, it was a surprise release on June 17th. And man, the album is amazing. It features from 21 Savage and variety of producers, dude, including Gordo, Black Coffee, and 40. And I just love it. Sticky. So you know how sticky it gets. Such a good tune. I mean, I just think like
Is that the one with the chair or the bed or whatever it is?
I don't know. There's a whole bunch of weird, obscure sounds in that album. But like, what I will say about it is that people giving them a lot of flack, and it's just like sometimes it's just nice to keep stuff simple. Like like for me, I don't like Drake the rapper. Like so, this album is something that I like of Drake's. Like I love when Drake is just like chilled and relaxed. Hardcore rapping Drake is not my favorite Drake. So I just really love the album, but it seems that a lot of people don't really like it. They say one person said that it's like half-hearted, like house tracks, like unfinished production,
atmospheric hotel music. I've heard that criticism too.
I think it's just a vibe. I mean, like I always gauge an album like, can I work out to it? Like, is it slowing me down or is it just like setting a nice little mood? And I reckon it sets a whole mood, which is cool, right? Like, you can push through. Like,
it's one of those things because what I've heard from online from Drake fans about it, they're either super supportive, they're in your camp, or if they hate on it, it's the classic argument of the OG fans, the people that grew up listening to Drake.
Yeah, for sure.
They all of a sudden they're like, give us something different.
Yep.
And then they don't like it. Well, no, you can't complain.
Right. It's
you know
like,
what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, and it's an artist. He is an artist, right? Like you're not gonna always get the same thing from an artist.
Plus, two, him from now to back when he was coming up. Mm-hmm. He has way less incentive to make amazing music. You've got no, seriously, the motivation has to be beyond money at this point. You've got everything as Drake.
Yeah, I think artists like Drake, has the highs and the lows, right? And they have time to do other stuff because they're not doing so much stuff here or may not be doing business on the back end. So it's just, I think input, output, the same with like Kendrick Lamar or like somebody like Beyonce. Kendrick Lamar just like able to write like another like beautiful masterpiece. But like, once again, it's just pure art. For him, it was something that he wanted to write for himself. And so I think like every once in a while we need that from artists, right?
And the other thing too,
those underrated
for people
albums
that are morons, the album's called Honestly Nevermind. If you're expecting something great from an album called that, go away. Do you know what I mean? It's marketed appropriately. It is what it is. Do you know what I mean? It's a chill thing. That's a chill title, isn't it? So I don't know. I'm not that up in arms about it, but a lot of people don't like it. I think my favorite Drake song is like, Hotline Bling. So I'm just a basic B when it comes to Drake songs.
Basic human.
Yeah, I am.
What are you listening to these days, brother?
I'm listening primarily to, I'm an MGK dude. And a lot of people don't like MGK because of his change of genres. I didn't even listen to his original stuff, but I think I liked Blink-182, so anyone that's kind of trying to embody pop punk, I get along with it.
Yeah.
So I don't mind it.
You like the pop punk.
Avril Lavigne, I'll listen to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sing a little bit of the Avril.
Stuff.
Sing a little bit of the Avril. Come on, give me a little bit. Come on, man, give me some, bro.
She was a girl, he was a boy. Can I make it any more obvious? We're going to go to the next topic of the show. So, because I don't want to sing Avril Lavigne, guys. If you want, drop a comment.
It's a good transition.
Drop a comment below if you want me to hear me sing Avril Lavigne. I'll do it, I guess. So there are readers of ebooks, essentially, that have been told by online influencers to buy ebooks on Amazon, right, Cliff? and they've been told to do so and read them super quickly within the 7-day refund period, so they can just return the book and get a refund.
I love that.
And what do you think about this?
Man, do it.
I'm very neutral. I don't buy books typically. Sounds very hypocritical considering I write.
So do you steal them?
Yeah, I torrent them.
You borrow them?
I torrent them. Yeah, I torrent them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's okay. Listen, man, I think like...
I wasn't the person to upload it.
Yeah.
Right? So
was the company mad because like they got all these hits and then like all these people like didn't sign up like or canceled their...
I'll read the article. So
tell me more.
So the Inskeep from Amazon say, okay, all right, people do it, and if it doesn't fit, of course, that's reasonable, but some authors would like buyers to do a little less often with books, especially ebooks sold on Amazon. Now, I can understand from an author's perspective there, Cliff, because Amazon would take a cut.
Yep.
And you can't price an ebook that highly. Yep. You can't.
Yeah,
because one, it's not that difficult to reproduce, easily replicated. You know, it's not a hard copy. It doesn't cost you that much to produce it. So I can get that. So the profit margins aren't that high to begin with, and Amazon's taking a cut. And then they go on to say, but apparently you're not just hitting the big company. Self-published authors say that they're getting hurt. And then so exactly, her ebooks royalties are being taken by Amazon. So I mean, it's a legitimate complaint.
Yeah, that's crazy.
By self-published authors to make.
Yeah.
Because there are few and far, like the most profitable authors of all time. I mean, there's not a lot, but there's some very successful authors, and and it just goes the rest really.
Yeah.
J.K. Rowling's up there.
Yep.
Stephen King's up there.
Yeah, I mean, I think hard books though, like, and kind of having a product that you believe in is like really, really powerful. I
don't know how many people buy paperbacks, generationally speaking. I don't know.
I mean, I still buy paper. I love to get
I'm a big ebook dude.
Yeah, I mean,
I will. By the way, I did say that I do get torrented books, but if I do really like the author, I will buy it.
Yeah,
it's the same thing with music for me.
Yeah, so it's funny you say that. Like, I love to buy like books on like smaller books, like little I don't know what you call them, not necessarily inspirational books, just like little thought idea books that people write. I'll buy those like in Kindle form online. But like for like other books, oftentimes like if it's a book that I'm like gonna go through multiple times, or if it's some like philosopher, like I need the hard copy, right? So I can go through, I can highlight, I can actually like sit with the book, pull out ideas. So I kind of go back and forth with that. But that's also, I like paper and pen too, right? I love journaling.
And just on the whole the torrenting argument too, which is interesting. First of all, I think liability comes to the person that uploads the book that they for all extensive purposes. But then you would assume that they bought the book to begin with.
Yeah.
And then also I would kind of think this is the same thing with music, right?
Yeah.
Pirated music. There's a part of it where it's kind of like it's still a good marketing thing.
Yeah.
You're still captivating an audience. Yeah, you're not profiting, but at the same time, your outreach is enhanced by it.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to condone it, but I'm just saying it is.
I just think like as a muso, I see how it like hurts, like
100%.
Like, it hurts 100%. When you're trying to like and like
that's why you go on tour. Do you know what I mean? There's other ways to make money. There are.
Let Mason justify why he will steal your music.
No, I mean, but even before music piracy, the record label has been screwing artists for years.
Of course. But like now, we as the people like who like appreciate art and artists, like we should attempt to do the right thing. Right?
No, I agree with you with like indie books or whatever. I'll buy a person's indie book.
Yeah,
easy. If I know the person, sure. Sure, I'll buy it.
But like in saying that, I've and all that said, I've also torrented music, man. Like I mean, for a long time when I was young.
I don't know a person alive in my generation that hasn't done it,
bro. Like we used to make mixtapes and like CDs, and like we like sell the CDs in high school.
Yeah.
In Chicago, me and some of my boys, shout out to them, they know who they are. And we would just like Yeah, you just tour music, like get all the new music, stuff that was circulating, try to find the best tracks, like actually do your homework.
Yeah.
And then create something for everybody. And people be like, yo, let me get that number 5, whatever special.
But I mean, people still paid for iTunes when that came out. People still pay for Spotify. So
Yep.
it's just an example of an industry that just didn't really move appropriately in the right direction. I don't feel fast enough.
Yes. Yes, sir.
So,
Man, so this Roe v. Wade overturned thing is crazy, right? So 2 days ago, thousands gathered in the U.S. Capitol, marching through the pouring rain, and risking arrest to protest over reversal of the abortion rights, right, from last month.
Yep.
And the demonstration came 2 weeks after the Supreme Court repealed Roe v. Wade, ruling that had guaranteed abortion access nationwide for nearly 50 years. And these ladies were there. They were chanting, "We won't go back." And they converged on the White House. Some even tied themselves and locked themselves to the gates outside. It was an estimated of 10,000 people gathered from across the U.S. Organizers said that there were so many of them, a lot of them traveling over 2,100 kilometers to attend the demonstration. And as of Friday, abortion bans have been taking effect in the state of Alabama, Arkansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Missouri, Oklahoma, South Dakota, Texas. So interesting times.
So for those who aren't aware, we do have our first podcast. We go into more depth about Roe v. Wade. I can understand why people would protest, just as a tidbit. So, i.e., I've voiced my opinions on this thing. So if you want to see it in more in depth,
check out the one before.
Check out the first episode. But just on this, for sure, I don't see anything wrong with protesting.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Yeah,
absolutely. I've seen some protesting about this that's kind of like, why are you twerking?
Yeah.
It's a bit of a weird one for me.
Oh, well, my body, my choice.
I guess, right? But
yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting topics that come out of this, like, whole Roe v. Wade, and I think we'll open that up a little bit more in our next, because there's so many questions that come out of this, right? And like the irony and I totally agree with, like, my body, my choice. And
we can talk about it in the Bone Zone if you want.
Yeah.
Bonus episode.
The bonus episode. But yeah, I really just think there's so many other issues. And right, there's so many, historically, there's so many things that came up to this, to create Roe v. Wade, right? And then that case for 50 years has, like, governed how we moved, nationwide, and now it's been overturned. And there's so many things like that that the Supreme Court has.
Well, Cliff, if there's something we haven't covered, I'm happy to talk about it now.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm just thinking about, like, from my perspective, like, I think about we think about constitutional rights, and then we think about, like, law, and, like, how, the Constitution never says a whole bunch of stuff that we've just made up.
Sure.
And these things, like, govern our society, like, and do we change them? Like, can we change them? Can we sit as, like, smart, intelligent, like, species and say, okay, like, we need to change these rules, these things that govern.
In terms of making the elective process of Supreme Court justices kind of like the presidency?
No, I'm talking about, like, rules that, like, govern our land.
Example.
I just think about the idea that we talk about, like, the American government, we still swear on the Bible.
Yep.
And you pledge allegiance to the flag, and, like, but then it's like we say
I see what you're getting at. Okay.
Separation of, like, church and state.
How much should traditionalism be a foundation for the generations inheriting the land?
Yeah.
What should you and shouldn't you throw out?
But I guess it's twofold. I'll tackle this a little bit more. I've been thinking about this, so I'll come back to it. Like, let me sit with it a little bit more.
Yep.
I have, like, 2 questions that, like, I was doing, like, some reading and, like, some listening, and I was like,
okay,
but I need to, like, develop these questions a little bit more.
That's okay. Cool. So, just on some emotional people. Because, these people are emotional. They're getting riled up.
Everybody's emotional. We should be emotional. You should cry. Mason, do you need to cry? You need to cry, bro?
Oh, no, I'm okay for now. But I will cry on this because I did almost cry about this. So Nick Kyrgios made the Wimbledon final against Novak Djokovic. And the reason this is a thing, right, is he's an emotional man. When he's on the tennis court, complains a little bit like a teenager. He's always like mumbling to himself. It's entertaining. I've never seen a tennis match where I got so roped up emotionally with the player wanting to win. And also I am Australian, so I'm like I want my boy to win.
Win, bruh.
So, but on the topic of it, John McEnroe, who in the 80s did carry on as a tennis player, he's very famous for saying, you've got to be joking me. Like, he's just like, complains to the umpire. He's just like, you cannot be serious. That kind of thing, right? So he pretty much had a reaction about Nick Kyrgios's attitude.
Yep.
Essentially. And he was going over that, and it's a lot of viewers have noted that it's slightly hypocritical of him to say so, considering back in his day he used to have a bad attitude while playing tennis. But I mean, as a commentator, it's a bit difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, man, it is. It is. But people are people, man. I think people can say what they see and observe. I think we get caught up though in society about critique, right, and something being hypocritical. And people could be on this guy for the fact that he, was the same way or whatever, or had a bad attitude too.
I'm not saying the point can't be made, by the way.
Yeah. I guess I'm just saying
it's the wrong person to make it.
Yeah, man. Yeah. But look at that. Maybe that person has grown in some ways. And
yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And I mean, do you offer it do you make this critique and then offer it up to that person to help them, or, do you just make it?
So, doesn't go into much depth.
Yeah.
I don't have any audio recording. But for anyone that did listen to Johnny Mac, I would love to have heard him, because this is completely out of context, this article that I've got here. So, from my perspective, as long as Johnny Mac doubled back and said, look, I don't like Kyrgios's attitude, complains to the umpires, complains to himself, complains to his box, that kind of thing, and then double back and goes, look, I've been where he was, then I'll be cool with the comment.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
As long as there's some sort of rationale in the guy's mind that he acknowledges his past actions in alignment with what he's saying.
Yeah.
As an advice thing.
Yeah.
Because that comes from a place of empathy, and that's cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a really interesting thing. But I will say that I think that Nick Kyrgios, being the bad boy of tennis, is going to attract a whole new kind of audience of tennis fans. I think that's what the sport needs. I'm not saying it's appropriate, but, it's like Happy Gilmore. That's what I view it like. It's like Happy Gilmore in golf.
Outside the hair with tennis rackets.
Yeah. So it's good.
Oh, man.
It's good. What do you got for me?
What else you got?
What do you got?
What do I got?
Yeah.
Man.
See, we're playing tennis. Did you hear that, listeners? We're going back and forth. Going back and forth.
Yeah, man. So, just thinking about this holiday season and this break that I'm on at the moment. And,
you're on a break right now, aren't you?
Yeah, man. And it's really just taking some time to...
For anyone that doesn't know, Cliff works at the CIA, and he has a stressful job.
Yeah. I had to
He's taking a break.
Taking a break,
Yeah. And Clifton's not even his real name either.
Saving the world. No, that's not my real name.
No. He's just taking a break.
Just taking a break. Just hanging out.
Yeah.
No, man. Just hanging out, training, and really taking some time to do things that I love. Because I think you can work, and I love my work too. But it's nice to just do things that you love and enjoy them for what they are, and not go too crazy, and appreciate the downtime and the rest, So that's kind of what I'm doing, man. And so really been looking into some meditation spaces.
Okay, you can chat about that. I got one more thing, but you can chat about that. Let's go.
Yeah, no,
that.
just
you're big on Wim Hof, yeah?
Yeah, doing definitely some Wim Hof stuff as always.
For those that aren't aware, what's that?
So Wim Hof is a practice, and the practice includes breathing, cold showers or ice baths, and movement. And so, yeah, just been kind of like practicing, like I started before the break, but it's been really nice to kind of just focus in and also like do the practice whenever. Like you're not like, oh, I got to do my breath work, the first thing in the morning. Like you can kind of like chill out and do it and go train and, have a cold shower or whatnot. And it just feels good. It's pretty invigorating.
Now, the purpose behind the breath work is, so it's deep breathing.
Yeah, it is deep breathing.
And what state are you trying to, like what physiological state are you trying to achieve by doing that?
So what are you doing is you're taking in a whole bunch of oxygen, or you're taking in a whole bunch of air, and you are basically just changing your body a little bit, because what happens is when you breathe in so much, you kind of have to, the mitochondria like start to like take on air and like hold air. And so what starts to happen is you normally would feel like a tingle, or you'll feel like lightheaded. This is what usually happens when you're like hyperventilating, because that's
So it's almost towards like hypoxia, yeah?
Oh,
So,
well, not necessarily. No,
No?
not quite there. But then you have like a breath retention after you do like it's kind of like a hyperventilation. It's pranayama, bro. It's pretty yogic in essence. It's just really deep breathing. But then he has the retentions, and the retentions, they do feel a certain way, right? Like
So it's supposed to increase immunity.
Yes.
It's your immune system.
Yeah, it's immune, nervous system. Yeah, man. It kind of like does a few different things. Anyway, like
it's a connection more deeply with your body.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's good, man. It's good.
Cool.
I know you're on the nootropic brainwave, so I think this would go good with like that kind of stuff, man. Like
why not? I'm into the cold showers. I don't mind them occasionally. No, seriously, I
said
do
the golden showers or the cold showers?
Oh, both, man. Both, man. If you want to come over, sparkle me up with gold, man. For sure.
What, bro?
For sure. I'm not even going to what that is, by the way. If you're a listener that doesn't know what that is, I'm not even going to go there.
What?
Not even going to go there.
Clearly, this podcast is not tailored to our kids.
No, but once we get into the bonus, thing, we can go for whatever we want. So the final topic we're going to cover is YouTube Kids. So the app platform that's meant to be for kids under the age of 13 has come into focus after an investigation revealed that the videos on drugs, firearms, weight loss, and skin bleaching were apparently slipping through the filters and being shown to a target audience.
Slipping through, eh?
Slipping through, apparently, yeah. So this curated. So the YouTube Kids platform is curated for kids under 13. So the content is categorized into older and younger and preschool categories. So it's interesting to see. So, for example, when we release this podcast,
of course,
I always say that it's not appropriate for stuff for kids.
Same. I do all of my content like that.
Always do that.
Unless it's my music, my podcast stuff. I don't.
But this raises, for me, this is why I brought it up. I think, and we both don't have children, but we were both raised in families, so I think we can empathize with this. Is at what age should a child be allowed to even look at YouTube or be exposed to this? It's kind of like the whole mobile phone argument, isn't it?
It's weird though, right? Like I think under supervision, right? Like you always supervise what your children did to like certain age. I think under supervision, or like you put the proper locks in place that allowed them, because you can put like things on YouTube.
YouTube Kids here is, because that's their moderated version. It seems to not be working.
Yeah.
So I guess my argument is that one or the other, or
I don't know, bro. But kids like often search through stuff too, right? So you can do YouTube Kids. You could tell your 6th grade child to get on like YouTube Kids, but like they want to see the real Post Malone video. They want to see the real, they don't want to see some like, they want to hear what their big sisters and big brothers are listening to that they know that they're not supposed to listen to, right? Like, didn't we all have that experience too as a child where you stay up and watch? I don't know if you guys have, but like we used to have the late night channel that come on. You'd be like, ooh, things change a little bit on this late night channel.
Supernatural was it for me as a kid growing up. Dad's like, okay, we can watch Supernatural. I was all right, fine. There were some shows growing up, I'm not going to lie, that my dad would say, no, this is too much. We're not watching this.
Yeah, man. I think that there should be a limit. I think there should be a range, and I think that we need to do a better job of protecting our kids. Or at least preparing them to have the mindset to, or the understanding and I guess, the capacity to understand what's coming at them and how to like deal with it. So that means I think we need to become better communicators. You know what I mean? Like of our values, of who we are, of what we want, and also start to help kids understand like where they're going and like what they want and how to get there and like what these big value systems like mean to us and like why we've utilized them. You know what I mean? I think it just makes us have to have harder conversations. But yeah, to a certain point, right? Like I still don't think that 11-year-old should be like exposed to, the same things as a 21-year-old.
It's a difficult one because I think the reason it's difficult, Cliff, is if I tell my future kid, hey, don't touch the stove, but they touch the stove, there's repercussions for touching the hot stove. They get burnt, right? Whereas in an online space, it's a completely psychological influence.
But we need to start telling them about the psychological influence and like trying to understand and understanding them, right? Like there is a consequence for every action. There's 100%. A consequence for every action. There's a reaction.
Oh yeah, no. There's probably adequate parenting methods to tackle these types of problems. I'm just saying that there's an inevitability of a kid finding things that they're not supposed to look at.
You found things that you were not supposed to.
I've looked at porn when I was 12, all kinds of things.
Of course, right? Yeah. Friends shared around. Somebody had a tape. That went around the neighborhood.
Yep.
Watch this, bro.
For sure.
For sure. That's kind of like the inevitable. I think that's what we do as children, but I think we as parents ought to feel like parents, peers, prepare ourselves for these things that come up, bro. Yeah, because advertising is gonna always target kids. We live in a society now, man, where kids are being targeted like early on, right? Like, how will companies survive if they don't target the kids in some kind of way?
Yeah, it's weird though because it becomes predatory in a way,
and it is.
Yeah,
it has. But yeah, that's what. Yeah, I mean that's what marketing can be predatory.
But I think an opposite argument to that would be, think of a moment where you said amongst your friends.
Not all marketing is negative. I'm sorry, I'm not saying that.
Yeah, no. But I would still say that like you could make the argument that it's you could have predatory marketing towards adults.
Yeah, of course, that's what I'm saying.
Right. Because like for example, like the way in which marketing and advertising is explored on platforms like YouTube, Spotify, you name it. I mean, it's one of those things where I'll have a conversation with you, Cliff. I'll just be like, hey. McDonald's advertising doesn't work on me. Now, I'm never going to buy, I'm going through a phase where I happen not to be eating McDonald's. This is not true right now, but it has been in the past, right?
Yep.
So I'll say that to you. And then, it just chips away at you. It's just so persistent. And you're just like, I might have a McDouble.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? I think it's just it's one of those things.
And then
it breaks you down.
And then you get the advertisement on your Instagram feed. Or
Yeah.
Ping. You say you're not having McDonald's, ping.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You loving it yet, bro?
Ferocious.
But I think the kids will be all right, man. The kids are also like, they seem to be equipped with like some other stuff that they are getting from being in this so fast, right? So I think like if they can crack it, some kids will be really well, and like they'll know how to like sift through the BS really quickly. I mean, I find that with like some of my students, they sift through things really quickly, online once they are taught like how to do it and like what's a proper source and what's not, like
sure, yeah,
like they're quick, they're sharp with it, they want to know, right? Because they have to do all the same stuff with all of their favorite celebrities that they're following, right? Like, because every week somebody's lying on some celebrity, right, to get some kind of clout. So,
of course, yeah.
So the kids are learning this stuff in real time because they're also following people like we were when we were young. Maybe it's a different way, but they're doing the same thing.
No, but it comes down to a very simple fact that organizations are made of people.
Yeah.
People are flawed.
Yeah.
People have opinions. Yeah. People have beliefs.
Yeah.
And this convolutes the truth at times.
Yeah. The truth will set us free, bro.
Truth will set us free. Look, it's interesting, right, listeners and viewers? So by all means, like and subscribe this podcast. You've been listening to the Thought Upload podcast. It's the 12th of June?
Yeah, man.
It is the 12th of June.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just wanted to timestamp that in audio form. And we were going to. I was thinking about
12th of
it.
June or July?
So it's the 12th of June or July? Is it
July.
July? 12th of July. Sorry, I'm living in a different month because I'm on university.
He's on a
break.
different wave.
I'm on a different wavelength, guys. There you go. So, but yeah, by all means, like, subscribe, comment your thoughts below.
For sure.
And we will, because I'll set it up this evening, set up a Patreon
Yeah.
for bonus content. And
Yeah.
by all means, click on that, subscribe to it.
Listen up, guys.
For $3 a month, you'll get bonus episodes.
Yeah.
So every time we record a episode, we'll record another bonus episode. And it's going to be a little bit more loose.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about whatever we want to talk about.
And you guys let us know
More
what you
fun.
like, what you want to hear, what you
Yeah,
want to
absolutely.
hear our perspective on, like
All the
what you
contact
like to
information will be
see.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you so much for listening to the Thought Upload podcast. Any more comments?
Thank you.
Cliff?
No. I got a question for you, Mason.
Yeah, go on.
If you had a store and you could sell anything, what would you sell?
Is this still, we're still doing this for the OG episode or the bonus one?
Nah, you can do this for the bonus one.
Oh, okay. Well, let's stop.
You can do it for like a clip. We can cut it.
No, we'll stop. No, we'll stop. We'll record another one.
Just cut it.
It's just easier to edit.
No,
It's easy to edit.
Just cut it.
Just
You still
edit
know
it.
you're getting all this now.
Yeah, just stop and we'll
You
record another
just-
one.
No.
What do you mean no?
No. Just answer the question.
Oh, fuck.
It could be a soundbite. It could have just been a quick soundbite.
Okay, fine. What was the question again?
So if you had a store,
Yep.
what would you sell?
This is some social media stuff you plugged the other day. I would sell blood and semen. I'd sell blood and semen.
Why?
There you go. Why? Because it'd just be edgy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And who would you target?
Women, of course.
We need
Women and Megan Fox. Megan Fox. She loves blood, man. She's eating Machine Gun Kelly's blood, man.
It's a market for it, eh?
Pretty much, man. Pretty much.
Peace.
It's the market.